We are Group 8 of the weekday batch, and we will be doing a presentation on Selenium, a state-of-the-art test management tool. I am Harini, and I will be taking you through the introduction and giving you a brief description about the tool. What is Selenium? Selenium is a free open-source automated testing framework used to validate web applications across different browsers and platforms. Wait, before you get carried away, let me reiterate that only testing of web applications is possible with Selenium. We can neither test any desktop application nor test any mobile application using Selenium. Anyway, it's not much of a problem because there are many tools for testing software and mobile applications. But Selenium is the best when it comes to testing dynamic web applications. Who developed Selenium? Since Selenium is a collection of different tools, it has different developers. So primarily Selenium was created by Jason Huggins in 2004. He was working on a web application that required frequent testing. Having realized that the repetitious manual testing of the application was becoming more and more inefficient, he created a JavaScript program that would automatically control the browser's actions. He named this program as the JavaScript runner. Seeing potential in this idea to help automate other web applications, he made JavaScript Runner open source, which was later renamed as Selenium Core. Unfortunately, testers using Selenium Core, they had to install the whole application and the web server on their own local computers because of the restrictions imposed by the same origin policy. So Paul Hammond decided to create a server that will act as an HTTP proxy to trick the browser into believing that Selenium Core and the web application being tested come from the same domain. This system came to be known as the Selenium Remote Control. Selenium Grid was developed by Patrick Lightbody to address the need of minimizing test execution times as much as possible. Shinya Kasatani of Japan created Selenium IDE, a Firefox extension, to further increase the speed in creating test cases. Simon Stewart created WebDriver circa 2006 as the first cross-platform testing framework that could control the browser from the OS level. Okay, now why the name Selenium? It came from a joke which Jason cracked once to his team. Another automated testing framework was popular during Selenium's development, and it was by the company called Mercury Interactive. Since Selenium is a well-known antidote for mercury poisoning, Jason suggested that name. His teammates took it, and so that is how we call this framework up to the present. Now we come to the components of Selenium. Selenium is not just a single tool but a collection of software, each with a different approach to support automation testing. So it has four major components: the Selenium IDE, Selenium Remote Control, WebDriver, and the Selenium Grid. Selenium Remote Control and WebDriver were merged to form Selenium 2. Now let us get to know the components better. So Selenium IDE, it's implemented as a Firefox extension which provides record and playback functionality on test scripts. It allows testers to export recorded scripts in many languages. These exported scripts can be used in Selenium RC or WebDriver. Selenium IDE has limited scope and the generated test scripts are not very robust and portable. Next is the Selenium Remote Control. Selenium RC allows testers to write automated web application UI tests in any of the supported programming languages. It also involves an HTTP proxy server which enables the browser to believe that the web application being tested comes from the domain provided by the proxy server. Selenium RC comes with two components, that is the Selenium RC server and the Selenium RC client. The RC server acts as a HTTP proxy for web requests. The RC client has a library that contains the programming language code. Selenium RC has been considered quite effective for testing complex Ajax-based web user interfaces under a continuous integration system. Then the Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver is the successor to Selenium RC and is by far the most important component of Selenium suite. It provides a programming interface to create and execute test cases. Selenium WebDriver performs much faster compared to Selenium RC because it makes direct calls to the web browsers. Due to this, it has separate drivers for each browser. Then the Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid is also an important component which allows tests to be run on different machines against different browsers in parallel. In simple words, we can run our tests simultaneously on different machines running different browsers and operating systems. It follows the hub node architecture to achieve parallel execution of test scripts. Now let us see some of the features of Selenium. It supports multiple platforms, it supports multiple browsers, it supports multiple programming languages, it supports cross-browser testing. supports test mobile web applications, and also it is open source.
Let's have a look at the pros and cons of Selenium. There are some certain plus points of Selenium and they make Selenium unique over other tools in the market. The main reason why people prefer Selenium is it is open source and free. If someone wants to learn Selenium, there is no need of purchasing a license. They can simply download Selenium jar files and can practice in their own PC. The second major advantage of using Selenium is it supports all the popular web browsers like Firefox, Chrome IE, Opera, Safari, etc. Also, it works on all the available operating systems such as Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, etc. Also, Selenium support wide range of programming languages such as Java, C Sharp, Python, JavaScript, and many other programming languages. Selenium supports parallel test execution, which is also known as cross-browser testing, with the help of Selenium Grid. Here the same test case can run parallelly in different browsers or different test cases can parallelly run in different instances of the same browser. Also, Selenium provides the facility to integrate third parties such as Source Labs, Selenium Grid, JUnit, and so on. There are some disadvantages of using Selenium because Selenium is not a complete solution for automation testing of web applications. It requires some libraries, language bindings, and some other tools to be usable. Selenium doesn't provide any development environment which is integrated development environment. So there should be some other IDE. In order to set up an IDE, one should have a prior programming language knowledge. Which means a QA person should have a proper programming language knowledge. Also, this feature reaches to another disadvantage of long testing duration. Selenium doesn't provide any reporting facility, so they need to include the reporting thing or have to use a third party tool. In order to get the report, the third party tool will be integrated with Selenium WebDriver. Also, Selenium doesn't support desktop applications or mobile applications except web-based applications. Apart from these, the inability to integrate continuous testing and low readability of test scripts can be considered as disadvantages of using Selenium.
First to use Selenium, we need some other softwares as well. First, we want JDK. We are going to download it. We also want IDE to use Selenium. I'm going to download Eclipse IDE. Download the JDK set and double click and install it. After you install the JDK, you want to update the path variable. Normally, automatically it will get updated. If not, you have to manually update the path variable. Then we are going to install the Eclipse IDE. And meanwhile, I am going to download the Selenium from the Selenium website. Until Eclipse get installed. You can find the Selenium download page from Google by typing Selenium download. Uh, uh, in here you can see the latest version of the Selenium, and also you can find previous releases of the Selenium. I'm going to download the Selenium 3.14. There are so many installers, but I'm going to download Selenium IDE server and the standalone. All the components are downloaded now. We are going to install the Eclipse again. Okay, Eclipse got installed. Now we're going to create a project, new project, Java project. You can give any name you want. I'm going to use Selenium project. And finish. Selenium got project was created. Now I'm going to configure the build path. Config build path. Add external jars. You want to add this one, and also that path also, and this one. Okay, now you added all the jar files to the Eclipse project. Now you can use Selenium in this project.
So now my friend has created a project as Selenium project, and he has added all the JARS files and the whatever drivers we need. So he explained how to install and configure the Selenium. And now I'm going to show how to test a file in Selenium project. So first let's create a package, and let's create a Java class. First, we have to set the property which driver we are going to use. So we are going to use Chrome driver. So first system dot set property, and the driver we are going to use is the web driver. We're going to use web driver dot. We're going to use Chrome dot driver, and here we have to the value should be the location where we have installed our driver. So the location will be where I downloaded it here, and copy this location, paste it, and our file name is Chrome driver. So Chrome driver.exe. So we set our property. Next, we have to add the reference variable for interface web driver. So this is how we do web driver new class object is Chrome driver. So here we can go and import the web driver class. Again, here we can create it. So here you can see we are added it. So next, now the scenario we are going to use is we have to go to the browser, Gmail browser, and then it has to select the element where we have to type on the, so normally when you go to Gmail, you need to type the email and it has to go to next method. So that's what our scenario is. So that's our first test case. So how we create is, we need to go to first Gmail. So driver dot get so we need to type the which address it has to go. So http www.gmail.com. So it has to go to this gmail.com web browser. So after it goes, what he has to do is, it has to we have to maximize the screen size. So driver dot manage dot the window, okay, dot maximize. So the web browser get maximized after it goes to Gmail, okay. And the next, I told now, for example, you see, if we go to this Gmail, it has to get typed. So what we have to do is, so we call this element, all these elements. So we have to we have to set the, what we have to get typed here, we have to set it. So normally what we do is, driver dot find element by, okay, by ID. So how we are going to find these IDs, okay, we have to find idea. So how you find this IDs, go to the web browser, right click and go to inspect. So you can see the ID, here is the IDs, identify ID. So this is the ID for this element. So copy paste it here, and what he has to do is dot send keys. What he has to do is, we have to send our email. So for example, let's Abdur 12345 at gmail.com. So this should be the email that has to be typed. And now we have to click the next button to go right for the password thing. So driver dot find element by dot class name, because you see now you have to find this one. So right click inspect here, you can see it has a class name. The class name is this CWAK9. Copy it. So the class name should be CWAK9, 5 paste it, and so we wrote our test what has to be done. So now let's write to check successful or is it fail. So let's write a if else statement, but before that let's see, get the title like this. You can see when you go to this, it comes here, that is the title, right? Gmail. So to get the title, let's put a string to see the actual title. So we will take as 80 and driver dot get title, okay, and just to get the title and to check a string expected title. So 80. So we need to show which title it has to come. So it has to be Gmail, right? So Gmail, yeah. So this is the expected title we have to get when it runs the get title thing. And then let's close driver dot close. So after it checks, the window gets closed. So now let's type the if else statement. We can use this if if actual title equal to, let's say ignore case, because we have typed the simple, right? So normally the G becomes the, it becomes capital in normal web title. So let's say ignore case. Okay, what you have to ignore is express et. Okay, so if it right, it says successful. So let's put a sys out and test is successful. Else sys out test is not successful. So save it. The automatic says Chrome is being handled out by automatic test software. Selenium, Gmail key, the title, and you type. So we successfully ran our first test case, and here it says test is successful. For example, if you want to see now the title, you want to see title, let's say FB, okay, and when you run, it runs, and what it comes, same thing, but as is Gmail, so it has to become not successful, and you can see test is not successful because the title was wrong. So we successfully created our first test case.